Okay. Alrighty. Round 2. Alright. And from mountain pose, we'll just kind of draw awareness to our feet and perhaps lifting the toes so we get a sense of the support within the balls of our feet and our heel, all parts of the foot there. And then drawing in the support that begins from our foundation, the feet, noticing and awareness, the support from the ankles, the knees, the hips, noticing the natural curvature of the spine, relaxing the shoulders, softening the shoulders, perhaps some movement in the neck. We'll begin with sun salutation, or classical sun salutation. And we'll inhale, raising arms to the sky. Exhale into forward fold. And we're just gonna spend a couple breaths here in forward fold. Maybe the body with like a bend in the knees, maybe a sway in the body, perhaps some movement in the neck. Just getting some movement in this position. And then we'll gently step that left foot back. Placing hands on the mat, gently lower left knee to the ground. Inhale, reaching arms to the sky. And exhale, hands to the mat. Raising that left back knee up, coming into plank position. And then gently bringing knees to the ground. And from here, bringing chest, chin to ground, and then coming into cobra. Baby cobra, elbows to the side, inhale. Exhale into downward dog. Spend a couple breaths here in this position, pedaling out, any movement you need. And one more breath here. And then we'll bring the left foot behind the left hand. Gently bring right knee to ground. And with an inhale, bringing arms to the sky, feeling length in the spine. Exhale, hands to mat. Raising that right back knee up, and however many steps it takes, bringing both feet to the top of your mat. Exhale into forward fold. And then inhale, arms to sky. Exhale, mountain pose. If there's any movement that's needed in the hands, the feet, checking in the in-between. And just kind of within self-knowing, telling yourself, ourselves, take whatever time we need in the in-between. And we'll do the same sequence on starting with the left side of the body. And we'll inhale, bring arms to sky. Exhale, forward fold. And And we'll step our right foot back first. Gently place right knee to ground. Hands for security, stability on the ground. Lengthen in spine, neck, and inhale. Arms reach to sky. Exhale. And come into plank position. Knees gently come to ground. Chest, chin sweeps through. And come into baby cobra. Inhale. Exhale. Downward facing dog. And then as we spend a few breaths here in downward facing dog, creating space for any movements the body may need. Whether it's child's pose, staying in downward dog. And then from here, we'll bring our right foot behind our right hand, gently lower the left knee to the ground. Lengthen in spine and neck, and inhale, reach arms to sky. Exhale, hands place on the mat. Raise that left knee up. However many steps it takes, bringing both feet to the top of your mat. Exhale into forward fold. And inhale, arms to sky. Exhale, mountain pose, Tadasana. Now we're going to move into Sun Salutation A. I'm just checking out maybe the rhythm of our breath now that we're doing more standing sequences. And with arms to the side, we'll breathe in, arms reaching to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Maybe the shins or hands are on the shins. And we'll just spend a couple breaths here, checking in with lengthening in the spine, the neck, softening, or maybe finding length between the shoulders and ears. Having spine parallel to the ground. And exhale, forward fold. And from here, hands placed on the mat, and we're going to come into plank position. And you can choose to bring knees to the ground or come into chaturanga to upward facing dog. And so we'll exhale, knees to the ground, or chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And spending one more breath here. Movement in the head or neck. And exhale, downward facing dog. And we'll raise the heels, bend the knees, and walk, step, or float to the top of your mat. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms reach to the sky. Exhale, mountain pose. Now we'll come into Sun Salutation B, checking in with our foundation, our support, and our feet. And from here, when we inhale, we're going to sit back in chair pose, arms reach the sky, and we'll inhale, sitting back, knees perhaps close over ankles. Finding lengthened spine, and exhale into forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. And hands placed on the mat, we'll step into plank pose. You could choose to do vinyasa or meet us in downward dog. You could place your knees on the ground, come into chaturanga, meet upward facing dog, and exhale, downward facing dog. Any pace in the transition to each of these poses. And from here, we're going to place the right foot behind the right hand. That back left knee is going to rotate the foot, 45-degree angle. And inhale, we'll reach the arms to the sky. Number one. And exhale, release to ground. Choose to do vinyasa or meet us in downward dog. Either knees to chest, chaturanga to upward facing dog. Inhale and exhale, downward facing dog. And in our next breath, we'll place the left foot behind left hand, rotate back foot, 45 degrees angle. Inhale, raise arms to sky, checking with that front knee bent, hips, shoulders facing the wall. And exhale, hands are placed on the mat. Rotate that back foot, and however many steps it takes, bring both feet to the tops of the mat. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair pose, arms to sky. And exhale, mountain pose, Tadasana. And now we'll go into our standing sequence, where we will start with chair pose again, and checking in with maybe if there's any tension in the body, any subtle movement that's needed. And with our inhale, we'll come into chair pose. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. From here, we're going to step that left foot back and checking our foundation, back foot 45-degree angle. And with an inhale, we're going to come up into warrior one. Maybe even checking, see what your body prefers. Arms up or perhaps hands on hips, and placing whatever distance between your feet feels right for you, and really drawing in front knee over right ankle, and kind of getting inventory for that foundation from the ground up. And hips and shoulders align with the wall in front of you. And from here, we'll inhale, arms up. Exhale, arms and hands come behind, maybe interlacing or grabbing forearms. As we inhale, we're going to roll the shoulders back, finding lengthen in the spine. And as we exhale, we're going to bring our right shoulder into right knee, lifting hands, arms up, or remaining in any position that feels comfortable, right for you. And in our last breath here, we'll inhale, rise up, and extend into warrior one. And keeping that front knee bent, we will then maybe draw our hands to our hips, and we're going to straighten that front knee. And then from here, we're going to draw our hands out and reaching, and when we can't reach any farther, we're going to fold over into pyramid. Place hand placement, perhaps on the shin or the ground. And then coming back up. And in my body right now, I need a little bit more of a bend in that front knee until I come into plank position. So we'll come down into plank position, do any form of vinyasa you'd like, or meet us in downward dog, do chaturanga, into upward facing dog, downward facing dog, and then we're going to bring left foot behind left hand, rotate back foot, inhale, coming up into humble warrior, checking foundation, exhale, bringing the hands behind the back to humble warrior, inhale, rotate the shoulders back, draw lengthening in the arms and spine, exhale, folding over left shoulder into left knee, perhaps looking your gaze to that back right foot, releasing tension in the neck, and slowly coming up to warrior one, straightening that front knee. And with your hips square, the front of your room, extending arms until it can't reach any farther, and then fold over into pyramid. Slightly bend that left knee, rotate the back foot forward, walk, take however many steps you need into forward fold. Exhale, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair pose. Arms reach up. Exhale, mountain pose. Okay. We're going to go into some of our balancing poses. So we'll start in tree pose with noticing in Tadasana in that left leg, support within that left foot, and feel free to explore if you would like your right foot maybe near the ankle, or if you'd like the inside of your right foot placed below the knee or above the knee, opening that right hip and either arms to the side or maybe the hips or maybe above the head. And release to center. Maybe a shake of the feet. And now as we focus our support, stability in right foot, Tadasana, and perhaps having the left foot near the left ankle, remembering not to put any pressure on the joints, or maybe the left foot below or above the knee, opening that left hip. Knee and arms to the side, that's perfect. And release. Coming into Tadasana, both feet. Any movement in the hips, spine. And having our support, maybe a gentle bend in that left knee. Coming into dancer pose. It feels like space to, with your right hand, bringing it to the inside of right foot. And really drawing lengthen in that right hip. And maybe hand to side or hip or in the air. And if it feels right to stay in this position or give a gentle bend to that left knee for support. And maybe shifting arm forward, extended, and kicking back into that right foot. And gently release. And shifting our weight and our support in that right leg. Bringing left hand to the inside of the left foot. Finding length, breathing into that left hip. And with a slight bend in that right knee, either choosing to stay in that position or shifting, extending right arm and kicking back into the left leg. That's great with arms up, that's awesome. And release, coming to center. And as we're coming to our grounding down, we'll come into our yogi squat. And depending on what your body's experiencing, whatever placement distance with your feet, could be coming up onto the balls of your feet or having feet planted on the ground. Yogi squat. Focusing your attention in this in-between. And from here, we'll come into lizard pose, where we'll have our right foot grounded on the ground, and perhaps the left knee, left leg, left knee will be placed on the ground gently, arm or hands on the mat. Just maybe see if this position feels right with knee on the ground, or perhaps lifting that back knee up. Getting in tune with what your body is needing in this moment. A couple more breaths here. Noticing if there's any tension in the jaw or face. If there's space to soften. And we're going to gently slide, move our right foot to the left side of our mat, and slowly drawing our weight to the right side of our body so that right knee is on the ground, or pigeon pose. And perhaps just finding the space that feels right for you. If that's knee that stays on the ground, or raise it up so you're on your hands, or that's awesome. I see you're on your forearms and able to relax into that position. That's great. Couple more breaths here, and breathing into the stretch, or in this space you're in. And we'll gently place our position on the right side of our body, finding support in our hands. So we're kind of on the right outside of our thigh and glute. And you can choose to swing that left leg over the right leg in our seated twist. And if it feels right in your body, you could extend that right leg. So right leg extended, left knee crossed over. And in the exhale, we will twist with our right tricep on the outside of our right knee. Spending a couple breaths there. Lengthening in the spine, the neck. And gently unfolding, coming to center. Checking in with the body, maybe giving whatever movement that may or may not be needed. And rotating in the opposite direction. So left triceps on the outside of that left knee. Perhaps gaze to the back of the room. And exhale to face forward. And then we'll place our left foot on the inside of our right leg. Right leg stays extended. And drawing awareness of having, as much as possible, the the hips even, and finding lengthening in that lower spine. And so we're going to inhale, bring the arms to the sky, and we're going to fold from the hips, and when we can't fold anymore, we'll exhale and release into the fold over that right leg. And drawing attention to the breath. And from here, gently coming into upright position. Any movement of the spine, neck. And we'll bring our legs at any opening that feels comfortable in your body in this moment. And with legs wide, that same concept, finding length from within the lower body. Inhale, arms up. And as we're folding over the hips, and when cannot find any more lengthen, then exhale and release. And explore any arm or hand placement that feels right for you in this moment. Maybe it's placement on either or of the legs or on the ground in front of you. Releasing and surrendering anything that's held in the spine or neck. And then we'll return to upright position. And then slowly, we're going to transition to the left side of our body. And coming into lizard pose with left foot. Maybe we'll meet the tabletop, kind of reassess a little bit here. And then placing left foot on the ground, hands on either side of the mat. Perhaps the right knee stays on the ground. Perhaps it raises up. That's the activation your body's needing in this moment. And from here, we're going to gently take little tiny side steps, left foot to the right side of the mat. And just assessing what the left side of the body may need. The goal is to keep that left foot flexed, but if it's more under your hip, that's okay. And that looks great to fold over into this pose. Checking in with either the intuition of the mind, the heart, or the gut in this moment. And in a couple breaths, we'll transition into our seated twist and coming up to our hands and placing our position on the outside of our left thigh, glute, and then swinging that right leg over the left, and even if straightening that left leg. And then we'll twist, so our left tricep is on the outside of our right knee, thigh. And perhaps placing gaze to the back of the room. Noticing with each breath. More lengthening in the spine. And as we meet in center, checking in any movement that's needed, spine or neck, and rotate opposite directions. So right triceps on the outside or the inside of the right knee. Coming into center. And gently placing that right foot on the inside of the left straight leg. Finding length in the spine. Releasing the shoulders, and inhale, arms reach the sky. Lengthen the lower back, folding over that left leg, and exhale to release into the stretch. Inhale, rising to center, upright position, slowly bringing right foot, right leg, so it's straight with the left. Lengthen spine, inhale, arms reach up, folding over slowly over both legs, exhale, and release into forward, seated forward fold. And in the next breath, we'll come into upright position. And we'll draw our feet so they're on the ground, hands placed on the ground, and we're going to come into our cooling down. And we'll come back into a laying down position. We're going to come into our bridge, and with our feet placed underneath the knees, hands extended, arms extended, hands facing down. We'll slowly raise the hips up, finding length in the spine. Perhaps the hands, arms stay where they are, or they interlace underneath and extend, being mindful of protecting the neck. Maybe chin is somewhat towards the chest. And exhale, release. And keeping the feet where they are, maybe the feet come next to each other, side by side, extending both arms. So hands are even with shoulders, and slowly drop the knees to the left side of your body, and placing your gaze to the right hand. Then a couple breaths here. Slowly returning to center, feet placed flat on the ground, knees up. Checking in with the spine. And slowly draw knees down to the ground to the right side of the body. And perhaps placing your gaze to that left hand. And returning to center, knees slowly come to center. And even just drawing the legs straight out so they're fully extended on the ground. We're gonna meet in our final pose, Savasana. And any placement of the arms. And finding your breath. In this final resting position. And in this time that was spent in attunement and checking in with the body, and as each experience that takes place throughout the day, it's this awareness of self that there are either moments, seconds, pauses that these times to check in with the body are accessible. And if there's time that you'd like to spend in this final resting position, feel free. Or when you feel ready, slowly find any subtle movement in the fingers, the toes, the hands. Subtle movements. Any space that's needed to draw awareness. And waking up to this present moment you're in and space you're in. When you feel ready, and with gentleness, with ease, coming into whatever supported position you need in these next steps. Awesome. Thank you.
Feels good. How do you feel?
There's just always